Okay, guys. Well, look, thanks for joining me today. A bit of a workshop around for you guys. What I've got for you today is, or tonight, is a little bit around topics around business plans, strategic plans, vision and mission statements is where I see businesses need to really start with, is to get that roadmap together. So I thought I'd just do a little bit of a presentation about that. I've got some templates, some ideas around that, some tools, some resources, and try and put you in the right direction. But if we'll also have a little bit of a question of answers at the end of this as well, so I can then open it up to you guys so you can actually get specifically or get some real specific ideas about what you need help with, and then I can help you with those. So I've got people joining all the time, so if I just stop for a couple of minutes, I'll be putting them in. But the first thing is pretty much what you guys need to do is you need to have that roadmap. Now, part of the roadmap is a business plan. Right now, a business plan is more around the who, the what's, the where's, and the how of the business is going to be operated. So pretty much who's going to be operating it needs to go in that business plan, what the business is about, where it's at, how things are going to be done in there, the financials in it, the forecasts in it, the whole lot. Then what happens is that then that actually leads on to a marketing plan where you actually put in your business plan what you want from the business. The marketing plan is specifically how you're going to do that. Okay, now I also do strategic plans as well, and that's what I'm going to go into a little bit more detail tonight. Rather than a marketing plan, a strategic plan, because I think what you guys need to do is you need to get everybody, all the directors, on the same page. So if you do a business plan and a strategic plan together, then you at least then you're all on the same page. You're all working through the to the same destination. So there's a couple of things that you need to address before you get into a business plan and a strategic plan, and that's pretty much like a vision and a mission statement. So I'm going to go through a mission and vision statement, the difference between them, so you get an understanding of it. Okay, and also what I get my clients to do is to do a SWOT analysis. Now, if you haven't heard of a SWOT analysis before, I'll explain that, but what it stands for is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Let me just this through here. Okay, just 2 seconds and I will be able to. Okay, I'm going to share my screen, and which will give you a bit of idea. Now, if you haven't met me before, can you just put in the chat there, and if you can actually see my screen? Can everyone see my screen? Let me bring up the chat box. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? Oh, not as yet. Vincent, can you see my screen? Yeah.
Yes, I can see.
Okay,
yes.
not a problem at all. Okay,
Yes,
good.
I can see.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that everyone can see my screen. So if you don't know me, my name is Paul Duncan. I'm the CEO of a company called Competitive Edge Coaching. I'm also an author of 3 best-selling books, or 2 best-selling books. One I've just released. I released Dominate Your Market, which is what the marketing experts don't tell you. I released that in 2017. Towards the end of 2017, I went to the top-selling book on Amazon within Australia for a 3-month period. Also, I've written a book called The 45-Minute Business Breakthrough, because my whole business is around getting businesses to get a breakthrough within their business. I guarantee to find $10,000 to $100,000 hidden in any business. So I wrote a book around that, strategies. That's on there as well. And my background is in chefing. I was a chef before I got into the business management and business coaching side of it. So I also wrote a book about the Edge, which I call the Edge Cookbook, which is pretty much the recipe for success. It's the ingredients and the method for a profitable business. Now, I've also been working on a couple of other recipe for success series, and that's the financial success in business and also digital marketing success in business. And I've just got one working on at the moment, which is an ebook around low cost strategies that any industry can work in their business. So that's a little bit about me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the first one, which is pretty much around vision and mission statements. So I'm going to share my mission and vision statement because I think that's going to be pretty much a catalyst. Okay, so what a mission and vision statement is, well, the difference between a vision and a mission statement. A vision is your position right now, is what you stand for, what you're trying to achieve in your business, you know, your core values, anything around there. Where your mission is more about your goals and your approach to reach those goals. So you might have a goal in your vision, in your business, right? And that's what you're standing for, and that's your goal. Your mission needs to encompass on how you're going to get there. Okay, where your vision is what we stand for right now. So my vision is global success through business development and education. Okay, that's what I stand for. My mission is together have a passion and create a difference in people's lives through inspiring business owners to reach their full potential by producing outstanding results. So that's the difference between my vision and my mission. So my vision is what I stand for, what I'm trying to pretty much achieve. The mission is my my goal, my approach on how I'm going to get that vision pretty much done. So that's it up there. The purpose I also put into my, this is my vision statement that you can see there. So I also put a purpose on there because I think you need to have a why, right? Why you're doing the business, okay? Now, this can be shared through all your team, through your members, everything, because then they're on the same page. They then know what you stand for and where you're going to get. So my purpose is with a commitment and passion and approach to business development and growth. As a coach and a mentor, I will display a high degree of honesty, integrity in the day-to-day activities. You know, I also put in where I stand with my clients and where I come into it. So my clients, I say my clients, my customers will be selected more on personal commitment rather than the size of the business. And I will want to work with them because I understand profitability is essential to future success. More importantly, I mean what I say. So I have some core values down there as well. So I put my core values on my mission and vision statement as well, which then helps me keep on track. But it also then portrays out to the people reading this vision mission statement, whoever it is, they know where I stand for. So my core values, and I've had them for about 15 years now, is to provide an excellent, to provide and execute excellent customer service, respect for all people, whoever they are or wherever they are from, and live each day from a state of honesty and commitment to make a difference in people's lives. Also want to contribute positively to our communities and our environment, and I continually build strong relationships with family, friends, and clients. So pretty much that's my core values. I have a little bit of a statement down here. It says, my success will ensure customers will build their business, employees build their futures, and entrepreneurs build their wealth. I believe that systems run a business and people run systems. So I actually put that in my vision statement. Okay. Now I do have a bit of a template on how you can actually do that. So I'm going to send this to Margaret and Vincent in an email. So then you can send it out to the members and to the other directors so they've got an idea of it. But I've got some templates around that. But what I wanted to do was obviously just share my vision and mission statement to pretty much try to evaluate how it goes and how it actually works and how it flows in from a one to two sort of points through it. So hopefully that makes sense. If you've got any questions, leave them to the end. We can run through this, and if you need a little bit more evaluation around that, then we can talk about that. In upcoming workshops, if we do have a little bit of a challenge of people trying to do that and get it together, we can do a workshop around specifically getting your vision and mission statement done and nailed. It sometimes is a work in progress as well, right? I'm now going to change this to global success through business development and re-education, because I find a lot of businesses out there have been educated in a lot of business strategies, a lot of marketing strategies. What I've got to try to do is re-educate them. So the point I'm trying to make is
sorry, Paul, there's
yes,
someone waiting in the lobby.
Oh, sorry, is there? Okay, let me just
Yes.
let me just get them in here. Okay, let me stop sharing. Okay, they should be in now. Okay, yep. Okay, they're in. So yeah, as I say, this needs to be a work in progress, right? As your business grows, you'll also be looking at your vision statement to change. There's a few changes in vision statements that have been out there for some large companies. So people like Disney have changed their vision statement in the last few years. Amazon has changed it as they've grown. Uber has changed theirs very recently. Microsoft started with their vision statement is that they wanted a computer on everybody's desk, every office desk. Now it's more around giving the people the information at a one touch. So, you know, your visions can change over the years, but it's something that you can stick to and run through. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense to you guys. As I said, as we go through these workshops, I can then bring it up and actually start coaching you in your own vision and mission statements. But tonight I just wanted to have a bit of an overview of what you really need in the business to make it work and be successful, and pretty much more than anything streamlined. So the other thing that you pretty much need to do before you get into a business plan or a strategic plan is what I call a SWOT analysis. Now, if you haven't heard of a SWOT analysis before, it actually stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now, we do this, I suggest to my clients they do this at least once a year, right? Reevaluate what's happened. We've just gone through some uncertain times now with COVID, and a lot of businesses have been sort of hit hard by that. So I'm getting all my clients to do another SWOT analysis, not only to identify their strengths, but more than anything, their opportunities and their threats that are coming up within their business. Then they can evaluate their strategic plan going forward to accommodate some of those. So when we talk about SWOT analysis, right, it's really an assessment of you and your pretty much the people in your business, your team members, your business itself, you as directors. Now, there's no shortcuts with the SWOT analysis. It's really important that you identify these as best as possible. It's just it's an assessment, so you can actually look back on it and see where any gaps are in your business that you need to address. So you know, your internal strengths, for instance, could come down to your marketing position. Okay, your competition out there, you know, your finances, your information systems, so your technology inside as well. You know, your human resources, how you how you bring people into your business, how do you bring your clients and your team members into your business. It could also go into taxes and related legislation, any compliance issues that you've got to go into, pretty much society things that are happening. So I know that you're concentrating around the NDIS system, which is very highly regulated. It's getting very tough as things go on to be providers within there. The compliance issues are in there. So you can identify if it's a strength or a weakness in any of those that you need to address with. So technically your strengths can always be built on. They can be enhanced and enforced to give you an edge over your competition. Okay. Now, the analysis of your business strengths could encompass all aspects of your business operations as well as yourself, as I said before. So you might come with some strengths, but as an overall business community, you might have some strengths in there as well that you need to identify. Now, when we talk about weaknesses, it's imperative that you be aware of your weaknesses. Now, no individual is perfect, and every business has some share of weaknesses in there, but even the most successful businesses out there, they have weaknesses. So, and they don't identify them, and if they can't strengthen those weaknesses, then they really outsource them, or they bring in some training or anything to help them with those weaknesses. Now, when we talk about opportunities and threats in that, right, it's always we're always coming across opportunities out there that passes by if we don't identify them. Okay. Now, threats are always out there as well, and if we don't identify them, they come into our business unknown and they affect our business. Now, we never, with the COVID-19 and the pandemic that we've had over the last couple of years, no one really predicted that. But a lot of my clients that I've been working for a long period of time, we've gone through a little bit of a scenario of what we call bulletproofing our business. So on an ongoing basis, we're always identifying what threats are out there, whether it's more competition, changes in the market, in the environment changes. So we put in some practices that can overcome that. Now, we don't have a crystal ball. We have no idea what's going to happen. No one really predicted that COVID would come on, whatever, and it's how it would affect so many different businesses. But if you have a little bit of a back-end strategy to accommodate some of that, whether it's a financial backup plan, or I've got clients out there that have a little bit of a slush fund that put money away for a rainy day. This is going to overcome any sort of hiccups that they have in their business. So, I mean, as I said before, it's imperative that you actually do a SWOT analysis before you do a business plan, because it will bring up some things that you need to put in the business plan that will give you the ideas and the strategies to actually put a good business plan together. So when we're talking about a business plan, okay, I'm going to share my screen in a minute, but I'm going to send this template out to you guys. Let me just bring it up, and I will share my screen. Okay. Okay, so this is a business plan that I actually use. It's from the government. I've adjusted a few things into it, but it's a good template to actually work from to get a business plan together if you've never done a business plan before. Okay. Now, as I said before, a business plan should look at being a roadmap for your business. It should be something that you can refer back to at any time, and look at and keep you on track. Now, some people use their business plan as a financial plan to give to investors so like banks and angel investors to invest in their business. So that's more heavily around the finances, because if someone like a bank is going to loan you some money, they want to know how much you want to do and how you're going to be able to pay it back, the growth in it. Where Other people have business plans that are more of an operational business plan. So they're very heavily on growth strategies. So where they want to be in 12 months time, where they want to be in three years time and a 5 years time, right? So, you know, I mean, you can be heavily sort of involved in a lot of the different aspects of the business plan. Depends on what your business plan is for. Now, when we talk about it, when we go into a strategic plan, that is more around an operational side of the business. So I suggest you people come to me and they say, look, I really want a business plan that's more an operational plan that we can stick to. We're all on the same page. Then I tell them to actually do a strategic plan rather than a business plan. Okay, but you know, some of my clients have both. They have a business plan and then they break it down into small chunks that that then they put into a bit of a strategic plan. But as an overview for a business plan, okay, there's a couple of things that we start off with, and that's pretty much more, as I said before, it needs to be the who's, okay? So things around who's involved in the business, what the business name is, where the business is situated, everything around the business itself, okay? The registration, the licenses, the ABNs, the ACNs in there as well, okay? Then they go into a business plan summary. So what the business is all about, how it is run, who's running each section of the business. If you have multiple sections, multiple arms of the business, all that. Then it goes into pretty much the how. Okay, so how you're going to be running the business, the target market, the marketing strategies. If you've got some marketing strategies in there, how you're going to bring on clients, your vision and mission statement, as I said before, should be put into this as your business plan. So part of your plan as well. Your goals and objectives. So, you know, if we look at your goals and your objectives over the next 12 months, that should be put into your business plan as well. Okay, as I said before, the finances. So, you know, I mean, the incoming finances, where you want to be in 12 months time or 3 years time, the whole lot, how you're going to generate those finances, things like your purpose. So as I mentioned before, in my vision statement, I've got a purpose and a why as well, right? Your business size, how many, you know, employees you're going to bring on board. In your case, it'll be the members, how you're going to grow with those members. If those members are going to be actively involved in the workplace, or if they're going to be an outside a sort of a member that's an investor rather than a working capital person. So pretty much a business plan covers all these things. Okay, as I said before, the license and permits, if there's any legislation, if you go into the NDIS, there's some compliance issues that you need to go through in there. Depends on what services you're going to be providing within the NDIS program. Also have different compliance and legislation and permits that you need to do. Any business premises that you lease, you buy, you get through the organisation. This all goes through here. Now, you might not, for instance, I've just had a client go through this process with me. He said he's going to lease the premises, hasn't done that yet, okay, but it's part of his business plan to lease a premises. So he's put down there on what he wants to lease, the size of it, the estimated approximate value of that, how much he'll be paying, the leasing costs and everything through that as well. What I also suggest is an organisational chart, which I think would be very, very valuable for your particular business. So, you know, I mean, where does everybody fit in that organisational chart? You put that into the business plan as well, because then when other people look at it, they can then see the operational flow, the flow chart of people within the organisation and their duties, their roles, and their commitments to it. The management and ownership of it can go in there as well. Any key personnel's experience, where they've come from, any qualifications they've had, into their skills, the products and services that you've got in there, your market position. So as you can see, there's some fair bit of detail within a business plan that needs to go through, even down to pricing strategies. Now, you don't have to put all these in your business plan. This is an overview of everything that a business plan can encompass. So if there's things in here that you think, well, is not going to be applicable to our business, then you just take that out, right? Growth potential, right, is always a good one, because what's happening is when people look at a business plan, they want to know the growth potential of the business and how that's going to happen. Okay, which then goes into, research and development, how you're going to look at, developing the business going forward. So things like that need to go in there. Any intellectual property, any resources, tools that are actually intellectual property to the business needs to go in there as well. So any IP addresses, any domains that are into it, any business assets, the business revenue. I also ask, I get in there a risk management portfolio as well, so you can forecast the risk management of the business as well going forward, because especially if you're in an investment business, right, and people are investing in your business, they want to know the risk factors, the highs, the lows, and all that as well. So that's always a good one to actually put in there. I get my clients, if they're in that position, to do a risk management table, so actually a bar graph in there as well. So rather than numbers, people around the risk, they feel more comfortable looking at a graph, a pie chart, or anything like that, rather than numbers. Into legal considerations, so all the legal aspects of the business, right down into, as I said before, the technology, if you're using software, anything like that. If you're a...
sorry to interrupt you, Paul.
Yes, mate, go.
Just got a question there. So with regards to that plan, the document itself, who does the actual writing of it? I mean, is it an individual from within the business?
Okay.
Or do you get a consultant in to come and write it and sussing out the information from us, or what's the typical approach?
So there's a couple of ways you can do it. Okay. One of the first ways is that you can actually, as a group, right, you do it as a group. Okay. You should have only one business plan for your business. Okay, if you have multiple partnerships, multiple directors, multiple business owners, right? I have a multi-site franchise operation, right? That and a few of those franchisees have multi-sites with multi-operators within it. So what they do is they have a business plan with multiple people putting ideas into that business plan, but it should populate as a one business plan that covers everything, with multiple people putting in their ideas, their perceptions, so you're all on the same page. Okay, I suggest that that's the way you do it, because then what happens is that then as a group, so I mean I hold sessions with a company in Sydney that have a group of people that run one business. Okay, but those groups of people have other businesses as well. Okay, they're invested in one business. So we meet every quarter. Okay, and we go through a bit of a strategic plan, which I'll get into a minute, which then flows into their business plan. But when we started, when I did a business plan with them about a year, probably just prior to COVID, what we did over a pretty much a 6-week period is we brainstormed each element of the business plan, right, and came up with that. Okay, so a lot of it is, like the finances and all that, but more of the growth strategies and whatever, you need to have a consensus throughout the board or throughout those people and come up with one business plan. Okay, now you guys can do that yourself, or you can get an independent person to take you through that process. Okay, this the business plan I'm showing you as a template now is more of a do-it-yourself sort of plan, because I have a lot of people that want to do it themselves. Okay, they also they ask me to do it, so I take them through that process. Okay, but it's exactly the same, but it's more when I do it, then they've got a sounding board. Right, I take them through a little bit of a sort of a process. So yeah, you can get independent person to write your business plan. Right, depends on the complex of the business plan. But you know, at the end of the day, it's just a plan for the business. It's a roadmap, as I say. So does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Thanks so much for answering that. Yep.
Yeah. Now I know there's a lot of information within this plan, okay, that goes in there. But as I said before, you can take things out. Some of the stuff will not be relevant to your business or what you're trying to achieve, but I put it in here because then you can always take it out rather than adding. Okay, so this is a really, really complex one, right? You know, I've got the market in there as well, because if it's a retail business, for instance, they really need to be concentrating on the market. Okay, where they're out there, their target market, how they're going to get that compelling message out there, the whole lot. So this might not be relevant to some businesses that need a business plan. Okay, but you know, things like customer demographics or the psychographics of, you know, where people are, you know, things like the you know, social media is a big one at the moment. A lot of people are, you know, on social media as far as their marketing. So what's their strategies around that? You know, as I said before, the SWOT analysis. Okay, you know, which identifies, you know, I mean, your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, your threats. As I said before, this is, you know, something that's very, very important to analyze, not only for yourself as directors within the business, but your members as well. When they come in and they see your business plan, right, then they can see where the weaknesses are, where they can see where the strengths are, they can see where the value of the whole business is at. You know, it goes into advertising if, you know, if you go into advertising as well. As I said before, the mission, vision, mission statements, the goals, the action plans, everything pretty much associated with setting up a business, you know, going forward. So, you know, hopefully that, you know, gives you a bit of an idea of how a business plan actually works. You know, how it should be structured and put together. As I said before, it can be very complex. It can be very easy to do. You know, I always try to put in a little bit of a break-even analysis in there as well. So, you know, when you know where you're at on a month-to-month basis, you know, if you've got an accountant on board, normally they'll work through a break-even analysis. They'll give you a breakdown of your balance sheet and your forecasting and everything. But, you know, it's good to put it in your business plan, because then at least you've got one document that you can actually refer to that's going to cover all those items. So does that make sense to everybody? Yeah. You know, if there's any questions,
Yes.
then let me know.
Yes, we are following it, sir.
Okay, so I'm not going too fast or anything for you guys. I just want to try and keep a bit of a questions and answers at the end, because, you know, I want to try and get into a little bit more of a detailed discussion about more specific stuff that you really need help with going forward. So hopefully that'll cover a little bit of the business plan. But more importantly, I like to do a strategic plan. Okay, now I'm going to share my screen again, which will let me just bring this up first. Okay. Okay, can you see my screen, guys?
Yep, we certainly can.
Just with a vision and a vital few and strategies?
Yes.
Okay, so this is what I call a strategic plan. Okay, now I will show you mine, which will give you a little bit more detail around it. But I developed this around about probably 5-6 years ago for one reason, and that's because I was doing a lot of business plans for my clients, and they got too complex for them to use as a roadmap. And as I said before, your business plan should be a roadmap that you should be following. It should be a little bit of a flexible roadmap, so you can adjust it to the environment changes and any opportunities that come up that you want to sort of go after. Then that should be put into it. So I've done this bit of a plan that I call a strategic plan. Now, it has up the top obviously your vision and your mission statement, because I think that's important to have in front of you all the time, right? So you actually can then keep on track of what your vision and your mission statement is. But I have these 5 little boxes down here, which I call the vital few, and I'll explain this in more detail when I get to my specific one. But what it does is it actually just breaks down your business into 5 key areas of what you're working on at this present time. Okay, so I normally tell my new clients especially to do a business plan, and then from the business plan do a strategic plan. So technically taking things out of the business plan and putting them into a strategic plan on the growth, whether that's growth in team members, bringing on team members. It might be bringing on new members. In your case, it'll be members, or it could be sourcing properties or sourcing your services for your NDIS. It could be into the compliance side of it. You might be getting to a stage where you need to start getting the compliance issues, the documentation in place, the whole lot. These are the things that go into here. Then down underneath, they actually start getting broken down into key action points, into strategies, things that need to be done, even dates that need to be achieved by. So it's actually a working document. Okay, so I'm going to share mine, which might then explain a little bit more detail of what it is. So this is my my strategic plan at the moment. Okay, so up the top, vision. At CEC, our mission and vision is to develop and help business owners globally through education and marketing. Together, we have a passion and create different people's lives through inspiring business owners to reach their full potential by producing outstanding results. So that's just up there. So it gives me a little bit of a reinforcement of why I'm doing this. The purpose is pretty much to educate the benefits of coaching in business and the rewards that you can get. So as I said before, the vital few is then I break it down into things that I need to be working on right now. Okay. Now I always get my clients when they do this is to do what I call a develop the blue sky, which is the bigger picture thing. This might be 3-5 years down the track, might even be more. But I encourage them that they put a bigger picture one in here as well. Okay, then they start breaking down on things that they need to be doing right now. So for me at the moment, right, I'm working on having an effective sales and marketing engine that generates and converts leads into clients. Okay, that's what I'm working on. So then when I break it down, I need to keep my team, my virtual assistants and the people that I'm working with, I need to keep their sales skills very sharp. I need to learn new strategies, by reading, leveraging the skills of my team. I need to learn new strategies to accomplish this, right? I need to bring in some systems and processes and some marketing plans, and I really need to document them that go back into the business plan. Okay, so hopefully this is making sense to you, how I'm actually breaking it down. Another one is one of my core values, as you saw before, was to give excellent customer service. So I'm looking at customer service within my coaching services. How am I providing my coaching services out to my clients? And I'm now putting in some processes and some systems to monitor that. So I'm putting some KPIs in place. I'm putting some documentation, some feedback forms that I can actually get back to know that I'm achieving what I'm trying to achieve out there. Things like, building the reporting tools. So, for those KPIs, I need to get some reporting tools in place. So I break it down what I'm working on at this present time. Right. The other one that I'm working on is recruiting and developing. I want to grow my business, so I'm developing and recruiting some business coaches within my company to do what I do. Okay, so I need to break that down into how I'm going to achieve that. So things like developing a recruitment process to bring these coaches on board, developing documented training materials and a process to train them on what I do. Things like that, build a business coaching recruitment marketing plan. So when the coaches do come on board, right, I give them a marketing plan so they can generate their own clients within the program. Another one is systemized and have systemized and well-performing business. So it comes back to satisfied customers as well. I want to be having my business running as systemized as possible, automated as possible. I want to be changing my business structure. I've now got a couple of other businesses within the Proprietary Limited Company. I've got some directors in there as well. So there's other things that I need to be doing within it to actually systemize my business so it's performing a lot better. Then, as I said before, I have a blue sky. So these are the bigger stuff, things like expand to other territories. This is for my coaches to the East Coast. So at the moment, I've got 2 coaches on board. They're here in Perth. They're very, one's south, one's north of the river. The next coaches I'm coming on board will be in Sydney and Melbourne. So I'm actually, expanding out into the East Coast. Now, I normally put a traffic light system in here, whatever works for you guys or whatever, if you use this system, right? I normally put the red ones that I'm actually working on right now, pretty much the pink ones. I've got a little bit of a traffic light system or a color code system of things that I'm working on. So I'm very, very focused on things that I need to be working on. So, at the moment, it's about getting some cash flow so I can actually start putting some more investment within my business. So hopefully that makes sense. I have got these templates for you guys as well, so you can use them, right? In future workshops, we can go through them if that's a template that you want to work through, or if it doesn't fit to your model or anything like that, then we can look at that. So I want to open it up to you guys to start asking some questions and some things that are really bugging you, or I really want to try to understand where your strengths and your weaknesses are, where you really want to be going in your business, because then I can start giving you some ideas and some feedback on the steps to take one by one. So do you want to start, Vincent, with any ideas that you've got now? Anything that you're not too sure about?
Thank you so much, Paul, for the presentation.
Yeah.
Yes, we are all represented here as with all the other directors. So, like,
Okay.
I think all the.
So, do the other directors have any other businesses, or are they all employed, or what's their background, or is it a wide range of backgrounds?
We have a wide range of backgrounds, but on this one, we are joining together. Others have got their own businesses, others are employed and or partly employed and still running their own ventures as well.
Okay.
But in this one, we have joined together so that we can invest. The purpose being to just also create some wealth for our future, for our children.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So Okay, so it's all going to be around the NDIS system. How I understand it, I've taken some notes, but it's pretty much pretty much two wings of the business. One is obviously the premium living side of it, right? And the other one will be the NDIS, obviously the provider system. Or the providers within it, right? And then the other side of it is obviously the investment properties, or the places, the properties you're going to invest in. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. So it's like we have a holding company,
Yep.
which is Premium Investments Group.
Yes.
And then we also have registered Premium Living, which is for the NDIS, where we want also to be on the operational side, doing some services in the NDIS space.
Yes.
But also we are raising. I mean, we have our floated shares.
Yes.
For ourselves, where if people have taken shares, so we've got shareholders, and we are raising money through those shares so that we can be able to have some houses that we buy in
purchase some property. Yeah, purchase some property. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
As investment. Yeah.
All right. And you also said that some of your members will be working within that program, or that NDIS, pretty much the service provider tick. Will you also get other people outside your members working within the organisation as well?
Yes, that's we're looking. Yes, it's going to be like that, because different skill sets, and also because we need people running it through and through.
Okay. So, I mean, that part of the plan is how you're going to bring those people on board. But where you need to start is what services you're going to be providing, and then start winging it out of what people you need to actually do it. And that's your team. So if you look different from your members and your team, right, team of people within that, then you can you can pretty much divide those into two separate groups. Because part of your business plan will have to encompass how you're going to bring those people on board and what those people are doing. So, I mean, there might be like job descriptions that you need to be putting in there as well, which is part of the compliance for NDIS. You see, your tick offs and all those sort of things. Now, if you do it within your organisation, then that's fine. But when you do it from an outside point of view, then you're looking at, contracts. You're looking at employing people, whether that's on a full-time, part-time, or casual basis. So it actually brings all those recruitment side parts into it as well. But have you applied for anything with the NDIS at this stage?
No, we haven't applied as yet, but we're looking at applying in the not in the immediate future.
Okay, so are you looking at purchasing some properties first, or getting your NDIS provider application in and certified before you get properties?
Yeah, with the properties, we are still raising the money, but so our strategy was to get into the registration and start operating, so that we raise also money which we can boost our portfolio.
Yeah, filter back in. Okay, so your business plan will encompass future buying of properties, okay, which is an ongoing basis anyway as you grow. But then it'll also include your now, which is obviously looking at your services you're going to be providing for the NDIS, right, putting in those applications, because you can put in an application that'll encompass a few providers within that. Okay, depends on what you're going to provide. Okay, and how you do that. Right now, the NDIS have a bit of a portfolio that they can send through to you that has a step-by-step process of how to apply with the NDIS. Now, have you applied for that? Have you got anything from the NDIS at this stage?
No, we haven't. What we have done, what we initially did was to meet and look at the services which we thought we could be able to provide based on the expertise that we have from amongst our membership. But we have also looked at engaging someone to help us with the registration process. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So how many services are you looking at to provide at this stage?
The number, I don't have it offhand, but I think we had looked at too many. What we have realized is that we might have seen ourselves having being able to provide many, yes. But we have to now streamline and see which ones are strategic, which ones are the ones we can start off with, and then maybe add others as we go.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I would, from that last template I gave to you for that strategic plan, what I'd put in that box is, the NDIS services that we need to be providing, and then start, as you say, streamlining those services, right, to the ones that you will be easy to provide. Okay, right, within your structure that you've got at the moment, the members and whatever, right? Because then when you apply, you can always, once you get your foot in the door with NDIS, it's easier to apply for other services. Okay, because you've already been ticked off for one particular service. So look at I would look at your, do that SWOT analysis. Look at the strengths that you've got within your network, right, of a particular service that you can provide to the NDIS, and that's the one that I would be looking at applying for, registering for under the registration and the application process. Because then what you can do is you can add on to that as you go along as part of that registration. But what they will do is, as soon as you've got the tick off, right, and you've got that particular providing service ticked off, then you can start adding to other ones, right? Because you don't want to be spreading yourself too thin, right? Because then what's happening is that your business will then become too complex to try to organize all those services within that. Because there is some compliance issues, as I said before, within the NDIS that you need to be complying to as a provider, and giving that feedback and all that documentation on an ongoing basis as well. So does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So I've just taken somebody through this process where they've come and they've applied. They actually had the registration in there and going through some hard times trying to get it approved through the NDIS program. But they had about 8 or 9 services on there, and they were more of a planner. They were the NDIS planners. Okay, so they were bringing on people as subcontractors and all that. So we weeded it down to actually 4 services that she could provide right now. Okay, so she had the people available. She had all the qualifications. She was doing medicine administration, as well as nursing and home help and a few other sort of in-house, in-home help as part of the NDIS. And she had those people already on her books with those qualifications. So she actually just put in a new application, right, to the original one with those new ones and got ticked off. So, you know, it's, you know, if you streamline it and get it very, you know, look at your strengths within your organization and say, well, that's our strengths at the moment. That's the services we should be providing with NDIS right now. But part of your strategic plan is in maybe 3 months, right, 90 days time, you look at the next sort of set of services that you were looking at doing and incorporating in there. And by that time, you might have the a property, so then you can start doing that, you know, the premium living side of it and whatever is part of the NDIS. Is that what your thought patterns are going down?
Let's feel free to participate. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So does anybody else want to contribute to that conversation, add to anything from it? Just have to unmute yourself if you've got any questions or any queries. No? So Vincent,
sorry.
Oh yeah, go on. Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. So if I hear you correctly, so the best starting point for us would be to do a strategic plan first, yeah?
Yes.
And then move on to the business plan.
Yeah, I think in your case, I do be doing a strategic plan. I would be planning out the strategic side of your business, right, and then breaking it backwards into a business plan, right, and have it very clearly and defined, structured within that document, because your strategic plan can change at any time. Okay, and it can be very flexible. So you'll start off with an idea, you'll then start getting a little bit of ideas around that idea, getting a little bit, it might take you off track a little bit, you'll come back, but then you'll set it in concrete of that's what we need to do. Then you start putting that into the business plan as a future growth of the business. Okay, so your business plan might say, well, okay, we're going to be an NDIS provider. Okay, but you mean there is, you know, there's a lot of services you can provide within that NDIS program. Okay, some of them you will do, some of them you won't. Okay, so what you need to do is to look at that strategic plan, and as I said, you know, do your vision statement, look at where you want to be in 12 months time, what you stand for, because then it'll be easier when you do your strategic plan on your visions will go into there on where we're setting that path for the business. When you do your SWOT analysis, you'll find out where your gaps are within your business. Okay, so if you're heavily around, for instance, doing, you know, living, for instance, you're looking at securing some properties for inner living for the NDIS program. Well, then obviously your weakness at the moment is that you don't have any properties. Right, but your strength is that you're an investment company, that you're actually getting some investment in there, that you can then source some properties. Okay, but in the interim, right, to get some more financial income within the business to go out and get some properties, you might want to look at some services that you can provide right now with your members, right, that are going to start generating some income within the business to add to that goal of purchasing properties. So does that make sense? Is that journey that you need to be taking right now?
Yeah, absolutely, it does. And I'm just thinking, because we've got the holding company.
Yes.
So perhaps that could be doing the strategic planning, and then there might be different business plans for each of the subsidiaries. The investment, the property investment, and then the services one might be separate business plans.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Makes sense. Thank you.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Paul, so would the process of workshopping a business plan and a strategic plan be something that you could walk us through?
We can't hear you, Paul. Did you get the question?
Oops, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Sorry, I muted myself by accident. So sorry about that. What I was saying is, yes, definitely we can do a workshop around business planning. Today's exercise was more about giving an insight or an overview of some different strategies of what you need to do is to get that roadmap, to get that business plan, that plan together. Okay, you might not use some of these things, but a vision and mission statement you're definitely going to need. Okay, a strategic plan will help you pretty much do a map of your business. A business plan will then document it and put it into a clear direction. Your SWOT analysis will find your gaps. Okay, so I can help you in workshops in any of these areas as you go along. But at the end of the day, because you've got a few directors in there, you'll have different inputs into the different areas of the business. So you need to start from stage one, and that is, okay, where do we start? Well, we start with a strategic plan. Let's see where we want to do. If we're all on the same page, this is where I'd like to see the business in 12 months' time or 2 years' time. Document all that down in that strategic plan, right? Then when you get to a business plan and you've already done your vision and mission statement, you've already done your SWOT analysis, as you go through your business plan, then it just puts all the pieces in place. So does that answer your question, Margaret?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So Paul, from what you are saying, okay, maybe if we can just get this straight. So the first thing that we need to do at the moment, can we just maybe put them in order?
Yes. Okay. So what I would suggest you do, yes, definitely. And I'll probably flick you an email in the morning with all the resources and the tools, and I'll put it into a little bit of a step-by-step process for you. But what I would suggest you do is actually do your vision and mission statement first. Okay. Right. Then do a SWOT analysis. Then do a strategic plan. Right. And then do your business plan. Okay, because you'll all have an idea of your vision of the business. Now that might change from the different directors that you've got in there, or the decision makers in there, but you need to come to a consensus to say, okay, this is our vision, and you might have that already. But you want to try to nut that down as well as possible, because that will be a driving force for you to fall back on and say, this is where we're at, this is what we stand by, this is our vision, this is where we want to be, this is how we're going to do it. Okay, so then when you go into your SWOT analysis, you'll take that vision and see where your strengths and your weaknesses and what you're doing. Your vision might be to be the best NDIS premium living provider for NDIS in WA. Okay, now that might be a vision. Okay, when you look at your SWOT analysis, you might be look at it and say, well, it's not a strength of ours because we don't have the properties. Okay, that's just an example to see how it all fits in together. Okay, so once you've done that SWOT analysis, then you can look at that strategic plan, the template I've set out there, and you can start filling that out. Now that's an Excel spreadsheet, so you can add on to it, you can expand it, you can do whatever, depends on how much you want to do. But then it'll give you some specific actions and strategies that you need to be working on, right, going forward. Okay, then after that, you'll put a business plan together, right, which is a documented plan of what the last 3 actions that you've done go into that, with obviously your who's running the business, the directors in there, or your ABNs, your business name, and everything, as well as the strategic side of it as well. Okay, now your strategic plan can also include your marketing plan. How are you going to do it? How are you going to bring in the end clients? Because you can get these properties, you can provide the service, but you also need the end users. You need the clients to come in and actually start using that. So there's got to be an element of the marketing out there as well on how you're going to get the message out to the market that this is what you're doing. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so anything it's not too sure in that scenario? I think it's it'll be a work in progress as you go along, and it'll build, one will build on the other, and then other. But your strategic plan will then start identifying some gaps that you might not have recognized right now. Okay, and when you start doing some of these processes, they'll start, you'll start understanding, and it'll start coming to light that these are the things that you need to be concentrating or focusing on to make it happen. Because a lot of this stuff that you're doing, right, you'll need to be demonstrating and communicating as part of the registration and your involvement with the NDIS program. Okay, so is that pretty much where you were heading, and anything that you're not too sure about, or anything that I haven't sort of addressed? Vincent?
Okay, thank you, Paul. I think you have given us an indication of the roadmap
Yep.
that we need to undertake
Yes.
in order to reach to where we want to get to.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we are many here. So if there's, I mean, all the directors, we have got any other questions, let's feel free to ask it. Paul is here for us to help us.
Yeah. I'd also suggest that you get onto the NDIS website and start downloading some of the registration details and the requirements for different services within the NDIS program, because that will help you identify who you have within your members that can help in getting you up and running as quick as possible. Okay, because there is a process that you need to go through within the NDIS, and I've just taken somebody through it in the last few months, and they've had back and forth, getting more documentation and wanting this. And what she should have done in the first place was go to the website, find out, download the pack. They've got an information pack there, right? Download that, so then she could get all the information together before they put the registration in, which pretty much it actually shortens the process, because when they need more information or more documentation, right, there's a little bit of a lapse of when they actually ask for that, and then when you put it back in, and then when they reply back to that. So if you can sort of tick as many boxes as possible before you actually put that registration in. Now, I know you said that there's somebody that's going to help you through that registration process, which is great, but a lot of the things that I've discussed tonight, like your SWOT analysis and all that, will identify a lot of those tick off boxes that they need for the registration within the NDIS program.
Okay. Yes, thank you for that. Yeah, we like we were saying that we once we downloaded from the NDIS website, and we also looked at the various services
Yes.
which we thought we could provide, looking at the skill sets of our members.
Yes.
So we did that initial undertaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then that's when we were saying that we ended up finding ourselves with a lot of them that we thought we could. But then when we had another seminar with the other NDIS guy, that's when he also said that we might have ticked too many.
Too many.
Yes, so I think it's back to where we now need to look at which ones we can easily start off with and get going.
Yeah. So when you do your SWOT analysis, that's what I said before, is it'll identify some of those services that you can then tick off and say they're the ones that we can start with, because we do have the resources, we do have the infrastructure to be able to do that without any additional outside help. So, you know, I mean, that'll help you identify the services that you can then start providing right now, you know, going forward, right? You know, I mean, you know, will you employ these members as people, or will they have their own ABNs, or what's your idea around that?
Yeah, no, our idea was to employ.
You're going to employ even the outside people as well? You'll employ them on a part-time basis, or will it be a contract basis?
I'll think a part-time basis maybe for a start.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then you need to, once you identify your services that you're going to provide, then you find out, you know, I mean, what people you need, what team members you need to be able to facilitate and to actually deliver that service on an ongoing basis. And I say that for one reason. That's because I've had a guy come back to me that's running a transport business. And we got him ticked off as transport within the NDIS program, and he's been doing transport, you know, picking up people, delivering them for hospital appointments and to doctors and to different places. But he lost his drivers. He lost 2 drivers, and what happened was he couldn't provide. He had them on a contract, or I think one was part-time and one was on a contract basis. One part-time because he had the work coming through. Contract basis on an ad hoc. If he got the work, then he would bring that person on board. He actually lost both of those about a month ago, or about 3 weeks ago. And he was actually doing it, but couldn't provide the services to the NDIS. So what they do is they have a rating system within the NDIS system on your quality assurance. So you want to make sure that you've overcome, if you're providing a service, right, you need to be quite sure and have that benchmark there that you can actually provide that service. So when you get into some technical providing programs such as nursing and all that, it becomes a bit of an issue, because those people are sometimes on a contract or part-time, but they work somewhere else as well. So if you can't give them regular work, then they come off that and they go somewhere else. So you want to hang on to the good people that come through. So you need, you know, I mean, the reason I'm saying this is maybe get a strategy around the people that you have on board, whether they're your members or they're an outside people as well, could be a different strategy. So. Yeah, but we can work through that going forward anyway. You know, I mean, let's just take it step by step, and we can work through. You know, once you look at your services that you're going to provide, then we'll break them down and find out how what you need for that particular service, and how you're going to accommodate that.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Ms. Mhlope, do you have anything to ask? And Mrs. Noshi, Simba?
No.
No, I think
Okay. What about
that's all.
Margaret? You've got anything to add or anything you're not too sure about?
No, not really. I think I have a picture now of what we need to do. I
Yeah.
guess my question would be around moving forward. When do we start workshopping, say, the mission vision and stuff, so that we can get the ball rolling? Because yeah, we're a bit behind time, so we're trying to
sure,
get the
definitely.
ball
Yeah.
rolling.
Okay. Well, we're in a new financial year, so I'm just waiting for the business station to come out with what they've got planned as far as the funding and everything is concerned going forward. Which they're I was on a session this morning, and they've got a few plans and a few, because the one that we're doing at the moment was the ASBAS program, which stopped at the end of this month, July. So it actually stops there, but it will be replaced with another program. Depends on what that program entails, will then dictate how we actually work the workshops, unless you come outside that government-funded program. And I think you spoke to Tendai about this, didn't you, in the first initial stages, Vincent?
Yes,
Yep.
we spoke to Tendai.
Yeah, so we were under the impression, so I'm a business advisor for the business station. I have my own company, Competitive Edge Coaching, but I'm a business advisor for the business station. And each year we get funding in different areas. So in the last 12 months, we've been running a program called the ASBAS program, which is the Australian Business Advisory Service. And that's had a bit of funding around it. It got topped up because of COVID. So they put some more money into it, hence why it went from a digital program into a general advisory program. But they added some workshops, some seminars, some virtual events in there as well that we could hold and actually take out of that funding. It was supposed to be funded until the end of September with renewal to July next year, but the government have come back and said that they're redesigning the whole program on a Commonwealth level. So what happens is that it comes out the Commonwealth federal funding into the state, and then the states decide where it actually goes. So I was on a program I was on a meeting this morning. They've got some programs coming up, and once they sign off on that, then it'll give me a better idea of how we can run these. Now, what I'd like to do is obviously do workshops going forward, but I'd like to do a couple of face-to-face ones and a few online ones. Okay, depends on what we do. So the things like the vision statements and the business plans would be better doing in a group face-to-face environment. Okay, because then you can bring your tools, your resources, anything you do, and then we can actually do it as a group environment, right? If anything, we can do them online, but I mean, we're better off doing it as a group within the business station in one of the meeting rooms. Now, I know that Saturdays is a good day for you guys, so we the problem with that is the meeting rooms get booked out fairly quick on a pretty much Friday and a Saturday. Depends on how many people. So you're looking at, when we do the directors ones, we could get the small meeting room that'll take up to 15, 16 people. But then if you do a members one, if we do a members workshop where you've got, it depends on how many, then I need to get the other bigger room, which is pretty much free on the weekend. It's only really the boardroom and the small rooms that are filled up on the weekends. So, but going forward, we can then plan those out for the next, 3 months to 90 days or whatever, and then book out some workshops and some seminars for some specific topics, and then work on from there. Whether you want to do them weekly or fortnightly or whatever, then we can work through that. So.
All right.
Okay. So yeah. So look, at this stage, I think the first initial stage is that I'll send you an email tomorrow with all this information, right? You can then go out to the directors, maybe meet up with them, start getting some of this, this stuff together. Okay, start working on it. Then the next workshop we do, we then start refining some of that stuff through it, and then start getting some real documented, clear strategies down on paper.
Okay, yeah, that's all good. I think it's
Good. Yeah.
yeah.
Now,
That's all.
I'll have a look at some training as well. I've got some video training around some of these areas as well. I'll have a look at those before I send an email, and if there's some links, I'll send through to you to take through. We can go through there. But do we need to hold a workshop tomorrow night, do you think? Or would you rather hold one next Wednesday or next, I can maybe, Saturday is booked. Maybe we can organise a face-to-face workshop and then start nutting down some of these things in a face-to-face workshop. What would you
All right.
prefer?
I was thinking, yes, we could. Maybe we can. We also need to, at the same time, to meet the other person. I mean, to have a seminar with the other person who is helping us to identify the group we want to work on.
That's the
So that-
NDIS. That's the NDIS person.
Yes, so that when we make our strategies
Yes.
and visions, we actually know what we are exactly what we're going to be doing.
Yes. So have you got an appointment booked to see the NDIS person that's going to help you with the registration?
If for example, if we no longer needed the seminar tomorrow, we could use that maybe.
Okay. Yep.
That-
If you can book that
that's
time,
fine.
yeah.
Unless we need another one of these ones.
Look, I think you know, I mean, you need you've got the overview of what you actually need. It's just about putting it into practice now. Okay, so you need to probably get together as a group, and as I said, start ticking some of these issues off. So, you know, yes, you need to look at what services you're going to be providing to the NDIS at this particular time, right? What you know, what's the step-by-step process you're going to be taking over the next 3 to 6 months to actually get where you want to be in 6 months. And that, you know, whether that's to be ticked off with the NDIS service provider for the 5 services that you're going to provide, or for example, you know, the investment properties, how you're going to source those properties, where they are, what they need to be, which will reflect on the services you're going to provide as well. So, you know, I mean, they all go hand in hand, but, you know, it's a matter of getting together, you guys getting together and actually start ticking off on some of these things. So then when you do come to actually start putting a clear direction down, it'll be a streamless process that'll go through. So this, you're still in a little bit of an investigation mode. What I call an investigation mode is where you're getting it put all together. Yes, you've got the structure together, you've got the ABN, you've got the holding group together. The next stage now is to put the business in practice. Now, what does that look like? Well, that's where you've got to get together as a group and get on the same page and say, you know, this is where you know, look at a 12-month program. Look at it and say to yourself, well, okay, it's 1st of July 2022. What does our business look like? Right? How many properties do we have? What do those properties exist? Where do they exist? What location? What services are we providing? What people have we got to provide those services? Or what people do we need to provide those services? And so on. Because that is what you know, and that strategic plan will help you with that, nutting it all out to put it into a little bit of a documented form. Then you can take that and put it into your business plan. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So yeah, so look, my suggestion is that you know, you use the time, maybe tomorrow night that we organise for this meeting, is to get together. You know, you can, you know, send this recording out to the people that weren't on this call tonight, you know, and catch up and say, okay, you know, what's our vision? Let's go through this template. Let's start filling it out. Right, get one of you, maybe Margaret as a secretary, or you, Vincent, to start documenting it as a shared document. So then you start putting something on paper in a collective group conversation.
All right.
Okay? Because then once you do that, then when we have another workshop, then we start working on the things to start putting them into practice. So, you know, then we find out, okay, what services are you going to provide? Have you got those people within your network? What's the people that you need to outsource to deliver that particular service, for instance? So that's what, then we can start workshopping and getting things together through it. And then in the background, what's happening is that you're putting in the registration for the NDIS. So it's actually working in harmony to that end result.
Yes, that's
Okay.
that's a good one.
Okay. Okay.
All
well,
right. No,
yeah.
that's fine. Thank you so much. I think we have a clear understanding now of how we need to
Go forward.
go what we need to do going forward.
Okay.
So we can use that one to meet up, since we had already informed everyone that we're going to have a meeting tomorrow with you. So we can use it to start populating the document and discussing about what needs to be done. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So what I might do is I'll organise, maybe I'll send an email tomorrow, right? And I might give you a call on Friday. Okay, and we'll organise because by that time I'll know what's happening with the funding or whatever, and then we'll organise the next workshop, whether that's a face-to-face one or an online one, and then we'll put an agenda together for that meeting or that workshop and see who needs to come on at that particular time. Okay.
All right. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Well, I'll give you a call on Friday, Vincent, and see where you're at in regards to what we've discussed tonight. And if you do have any issues before then just let me know. Yeah, I'll probably give you a call on Friday morning, and we'll organise what to do next week as far as a workshop date and whatever. Okay.
All right. All right.
Not a problem. Okay then. All right. Well, thanks for joining me, guys, and hopefully you've got some value out of this one. It's only a starting point, as I said before, and we can work on that and build on that going forward. So thanks again, and yeah, look, if you do have any issues, just feel free to reach out, email me, and I'll be able to help you through the process.
All right. All right.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Paul.
Not a problem at all.
It's been quite valuable and helpful for us.
Okay. Not a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll talk to you on Friday, Vincent. All right.
All right. Thank you.
You take care. Talk to you soon. Cheers. All right.
Thank
All right,
you.
yes, bye.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Bye.